What's up guys, and welcome back. So my last video, obviously, I got some work done around the front there, but we are now moving on to this door. She does need a few repairs still, namely there, that's the worst part. But I don't know how well you can see that down at the bottom. She did have a repair done by the previous owner, and although it's nice and solid, it's welded together very well, it was never finished. So I think we'll do this top part first, get that welded in, and then we'll move along the bottom here, get it ground, that weld ground off, and we'll just bodywork it. Inside, I think the door's pretty solid inside there. We don't have too much to do in here. Another thing I might do today is get this off here. It is loose on that side, but over here, just under there, there is a bolt which is absolutely rusted solid. So I have to see if I can figure out, get a angle grinder under there somehow and just whip them off without damaging anything. So yeah, but yeah, I think that's the only two places where they're held on at, aren't they? Yeah, I think so. This needs to come off anyway because I need the back side of this. I can feel the rust down the back side, and there's rust under there on the runner. So I need to get in with a wire brush and a wire wheel and just give it all a good clean. But ideally today I'd like to get this door done, get the welding done on it, get that ground off down there, and then over the next few days we'll get the rest of this entire side all painted, bodyworked, and yeah, ideally I'd like to get around to about this back quarter here. Obviously light has to come out and everything, but yeah, if I can get this entire side done this week, then what I can do is get the van spun around and yeah, continue down, and yeah. I can't think this morning. It's actually kind of cold, so, and the brain hasn't started functioning correctly yet, so yeah, just bear with me. But yeah, that's the basic plan. That's the basic plan. Let's get on with it. Got it off eventually. Got rust along there, but thankfully it's all, other than a few bits at the back there, it's all pretty solid. That's a bit weak, but yeah. But main thing now is I'm going to start to address this. I think before I cut this out though, what I'm going to do is I'll actually make the piece, because there's enough material there to actually get the curvature correct. So yeah, I think I'll do that first. Oh, we are starting to get something in there now, and obviously, oh, you can see this, but it's raining. Story of my life. But yeah, I'm going to just start tacking it, just spot. I've explained it before. One little one there, one little one there. Just move back and forth, keeps the heat out of it. So I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, let's grab the welder and let's just see how much of this we can get done before we're rained off. Oh, starting to look better there. Still got some around there to fill in with weld. A couple of little spots here where it blew through, but overall, yeah, it's coming along alright. It's metal anyway, that's the main thing. You can do a bit more grinding along here, get these little spots off first, and then I'll go back and fill these. And yeah, fill it, smooth it out, And that's it done. I will paint it from the inside. I do have the door lock to come out, but I'm not taking that out just yet. But yeah, I'll leave that until I'm actually doing the inside of the vehicle. So yeah, well, we are moving on with things. I don't know how well that shows up on the camera, but it's been treated with a rust neutralizer. So I'm just leaving that to dry. When it turns a sort of glossy black, it's neutralized. Meanwhile, I'm working on with the door. Got most of that sanded down, just working my way up. Got that over there filled. Got to shape that up, I'm just waiting for that drying. But yeah, overall, moving along. Something I always find fascinating with old vehicles. It's kind of like archaeology to some degree. I mean, just going through all the different colours. We've got green, we've got red, we've got blue, we've got black. And then, oh, and there's white as well. Let's not forget the white. Never ceases to amaze me just how many colours you can find on old vehicles. It's just a little musing there. Let's get back to it. Well, just putting a little bit of red oxide primer on there. The main reason I'm doing this is, like I did with the front, I want to just get the surface uniform, and then you can spot any little dents, undulations, anything like that much better. So give that a few minutes to dry. Obviously got some heat on there, but yeah, I'm going to let that dry up, and then we can go back over it and have a really good look to see what's going on. So got some more work to do on this edge here, and I'm going to leave it overnight. It's getting late now, it's raining again. So meanwhile, I've just given that a quick prime. This is not the finished product. I'm just doing this just to keep this in good shape. But it's going to get put to one side. And yeah, my spray gun has arrived, so I will give a little bit of a review of that shortly. Yeah, let's just call it quits for today. Hey guys, just sitting here editing part 5 and discovered that several videos have, well, no audio. Therefore, just doing a quick voiceover to bring you up to speed on what is going on. In short, I began working on the lower part of the door. I did a little bodywork, then hit it with a high build primer. However, when I began rubbing down the lower section of the door, I noticed a lot of deflection around where the repair had been made. And honestly, that's where the problem began. So we'll pick up later on in the day when I'd removed the door, and well, you'll see what's happening. Like I say, yesterday I realised that this door isn't welded all the way along at the bottom, and it needs fettling before I go any further with it. So yeah. Here we go. Now, obviously I've got to tidy in there first. Now, I basically want this all cleared out so that when I get this door off, I've got somewhere to just put stuff and work. So what I'm thinking about, if I put some cardboard down or something, take this door off, flip it on its back, and just, well, it might sit in there, it might not. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But there we go. Now isn't that better? So next step is to remove this door. Now, piece will be just a nut under there. There's obviously one over here, just in there on the slider. So I just got to figure out how it comes off underneath. assuming. Let's have a look. Put it off there. It's not actually too bad. I loosened that bottom runner off. Loosened it off here, and then the top one just dropped out. So just had that little stool down there with some blocks of wood just to stop it dropping to the ground, and yeah. Getting it back in might be a bit more of a challenge because it's obviously old tin work. It is quite heavy. Probably weighs more than the transit side door that I had up several times if you saw my transit videos. So just to give it a put into context. Anyway, first thing I'm going to do is put some cardboard down in there, lay this on its back so I can just start working down these sides and figuring out what I need to do, fix the bottom of this door. We now get a better look at the bottom of this door. God, I hate seeing this done. There's a pretty decent patch being put on the outside, and then the rest of it's just left. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I've got this. It's already got a nice bend in it, so I'm basically going to come down about maybe 1/4 of an inch and cut straight along there, so I've got a little bit of a lip for that to sit on, and then I'll be able to pull this up, because that's part of the problem. That needs to come up. I don't know if you can see that. It needs to come up to there. That's why it was sticking out on the corner. Same over this side. It needs to be just pulled up, and this corner here, I need to figure this out because I need this lip here. I need to come all the way to the end, and then this fold here, I duplicate that all the way down there. So yeah, there's a bit of work on this. So got all that rotten cut out now, and all I've done is I've sanded along the inside as much as I can, and I've just given it a good soaking in rust neutralizer. So while that's drying, I'm going to get the piece cut that will go into there. Obviously I've got it marked roughly out on here at the moment, so I've just got to take some get some more just a few more dimensions, you know, such as the piece there that cuts in like that, a piece that goes around there, etc. So I need to figure out all of those dimensions, and then yeah, we'll start welding it in. I'm not sure, I'm torn what to do here. Now obviously I'm going to inject paint up there just to make sure that's all coated. I wish I had some Port 15, that would have been perfect for this, but I don't. But what I want to do is get it under this lip just to make sure that it's all nicely coated up under there. Because there's no, you can get in there. Actually, that's a thought. I do have a cavity gun. Yeah, I think I am going to give this a coat of paint to begin with, but I think once I get this welded up, I'll get the cavity gun in there and I'll just fill this cavity. And yeah, I think that's going to be the easiest way to keep this good, because even though my intention is to sell the van, you know, I don't want somebody to look at it in 10 years' time and think, oh God, look how we did that, that's terrible. If you'd done this, you know, that sort of thing. So, and if I win the lottery, I'll be keeping the van, so, you know, there you go. I've got to be honest, if this was a project that I was keeping, I've seen one of these done in a flat black and a satin silver, like a really, really dark silver, and I just loved it. And if it were mine, if I was keeping it, that would be the colour. But no, I'm actually doing this I'm actually this is going to go up for sale, and it is going to fund a business venture in the near future. So yeah, okay, so far so good. I've got that all cleaned off, and I put the rust neutralizer on there, and now it's primed, and I have been able to like get it underneath the panel. And I've got this piece here ready just to go on. Obviously I've primed that. Now that will go in roughly there. So I'm sitting here thinking, yes, I know it's too long on that end. That's deliberate. Just overlapped it a little bit on the end. But this lower edge, I think, do I weld it or do I bond it? Now, that's not as crazy as it first sounds, because manufacturers have been bonding panels together for a long time. So I would bond that lower edge all the way along. That would make it nice and watertight. Then I'd weld along this seam here, and I think that's going to give it a better finish, better job, in theory. So what I'll probably do is get this into place. That does actually pop down there. Clamp it, well, bond it, then clamp it, and call it good for the day, because it takes 24 hours to dry. So it'll be dry enough tomorrow to be able to weld it. So I think that's probably what I want to do. Okay, so a nice bead laid along there. So let's get this panel dropped in, and then we'll clamp it up and then leave it till tomorrow. Well, there we have it. So all nicely bonded along there, but seal it up underneath. And so when I get this welded in tomorrow, I'll be able to come in and get some sealer in this cavity, and what I'll also do is I'll spray some corrosion neutralizer in there to begin with, and then I'll hit the cavity with cavity wax, and hopefully should be able to call that good. Obviously I've still got to work the sides and everything, and down there as well, to get that all looking good. But yeah, I'm you know, pain that I have to do this, but it is what it is, you know. Anyway, I'm pretty much going to call it quits for today again. Well, another morning and we're back at it again. This is had overnight to dry. Temperatures are low, I've mentioned that a couple of times, so the sealer isn't drying as quickly as it should, but we're still within the temperature range for it to dry, so you know, it's just going to take a bit longer. I think what I'm going to do this morning though is I may drill just a couple of little holes and just spot through. Then that's that anchored, and then I can get on with it. But right now I'm just going to get everything out and we'll just see how far we get. Things are moving on. I've basically got that whole bottom end tacked in, but what I'm working on at the minute is this edge here. I've welded a piece in, and now I'm just filling this edge up, just building it up with weld, just to get the profile and everything just right. So it's a case of like weld a bit, grind a bit, weld a bit, grind a bit. But I've got the contour of the door just nice. So yeah, it's coming along. It's getting along there quite nicely. I've got the door turned over at this point, so we can start working on the profile on this side. Once I get this done, I'll get some primer on it, Then we'll move to the other side, and then once that's all complete, I'll then re-body work this area. Oh, it's been a long day, but certainly gotten there. Obviously got it all seam sealed up now. A little bit of finishing to do there, but I'll get to that shortly. I think what I'm going to do next is may as well pop all these mechanisms off. I'm just going to work on this door until it's completely primed and everything, so you know, there's no point in putting everything away just to get it all back out again. So I'm going to pop this one off here, that one over there, and these bits around here, and yeah, we'll start sanding the door. Oh look, it started to rain. What a surprise. Anyway, I've got the door covered up now because it got soaked, so I've got to go back to that shortly. But meanwhile, until the rain passes, I'm just doing some of these bits here. Yeah, just this one had a few dents in it along here, which I've tapped them out the best I can. So just got it strapped up there for the minute, let that dry, and move on to some of those bits down there. But yeah, unfortunately, as you can see, I think you can see down there, everything just got soaked. So yeah, wonderful. So at this point, I'm taking the opportunity. I'm going around, and they've been hit with a rust converter. That's been allowed to sit for 20 minutes. And now I'm just using an encapsulator that will prevent anything from coming back. I've also, I don't know what you can see, but I've hit inside of there. I've also, these two channels here, I've hit down the inside of those. Okay, so we're moving on. Did I mention that? Well, let's hope we don't blow away. Anyway, wind is now starting to kick off. I'm going to have to sort the tent out in a minute, tie it down, but meanwhile I've got this now nicely prepped. This isn't the finishing coat, this is basically just to protect this while I'm in the process of doing other things. So, you know, that obviously needs a little bit more finishing, although it's nice and smooth. Yeah, I think I've got a run in it. Doesn't matter anyway, but it's just to protect it. It's done. It'll now just be going to storage with the other bits and pieces, and it'll be there ready for when I actually get to that bit. This has been an hour and then some. Had really heavy winds come across, and of course, obviously battling with the tent, that seems to be a consistent theme. I think I've got everything buttoned down now, except for that leg over there. Got a concrete slab there. I think what I'm going to do is just drill a hole through it and just put a nut and bolt in the bottom of there just to hold it. It's supposed to drop off in the next hour or so at least that's something. I'm not doing anything more with the door today. I've given up on that. That's just, yeah. There's just too much wind and everything's just too difficult at the minute, so yeah, I'm just leaving the door for the moment. Yeah, stuff's blowing away everywhere. Anyway, I think what I'm going to do is I'll throw everything in here just for the time being, but I'm going to clear this. I may as well just start sanding across here. Yeah, I mean, that's about all I can do today. Obviously I'm not going to strain anything today, so yeah. Fun and games. Oh, doesn't look much, but there's a lot of work gone into that. So next thing I'm going to do is wind's blowing the dust up in the face. I'm going to do that centre section there. Then what I want to do is I'll get the pressure washer in and just blast everything in here, and yeah, we should be ready to get some paint on it tomorrow. I'll leave it to dry overnight, and hopefully this wind and everything will have died down by then. So yeah, well, we've got that all nicely washed out. I'm going to get in there with just a cloth in a moment and just get all the little areas where there's puddles. But otherwise, it's washed out nicely. Tomorrow, obviously I want to leave this overnight to dry, but tomorrow I'm going to come out and the first thing I'll do is I'm not doing that seat back because it's actually got household paint on parts of this seat, so I want to get that all cleared off. But I'll basically, from the seat base back to and up to there, maybe that rear inner fender, I'll get it all epoxied all the way across to the door. And we've got, see, this is one of the things with had household paint here and there on it, and it just breaks off. Anyway, that's another job, that's another day. The main thing tomorrow is going to be to get this floor done. But yeah, all in all, not a bad day's work. Even though I've only worked on the van about 20% of the time, the other 80's been just about trying to keep the tent from blowing away, but you know, that's right. Well, it's the following morning. The tent survived, everything's nice and dry, so let's get motivated. Well, there we have it. Once again, I feel like I'm actually making some progress. I did not do the seat backs, those little bulkheads there, because I think I mentioned it yesterday, but I don't really need to address this more because when I was sanding it down I noticed there is household paint on there, like oil based, so I really need to get that off before I do anything else with it. But you know, for half an hour it's you know, not bad at all. And this is one of those things that I think I've said it in previous videos. Sometimes when you're doing anything like this, especially bodywork, you seem to spend ages in getting nowhere. You know, for example, down there, you know, that was like half a day of getting that to just look right, getting the little dents knocked out, blah blah blah. Same with the actual fender there. And all of a sudden you hit it with some paint and it's like within 30 minutes you feel like you've gotten further than you have all week. And yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean the gun. Obviously I'm not going to be using it anymore today. And then I think I will get on with that door, get that door finished, prepped up, and see if I can get some paint on it today. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. At least it's not raining and it's not windy. Well, we have been moving along with the door here. Got all this interior sanded and did it with the corrosion prep, and now this is just a basically it's like pour 15. It's yeah, it just seals everything up and stops any corrosion coming back. So I've got everything on this side done as far as I want to go right now. What I want to do next is flip the door over and then we'll start bodywork on the other side, and ideally it would be nice if I could get this all done today so that tomorrow everything will be nice and dry, then I can come back and then prime the entire door. But that's the goal at least, so let's get this flipped over and we will continue. I've got the door flipped over and just finishing up on this side now. Gonna let this all dry off and cure, and so I'm going to nip in and get some lunch, and then I'm just going to sand this entire door over again, and hopefully that'll be it done today and ready for paint tomorrow. So I've got most of the bottom edge now bodyworked. I'm just doing a little bit more filling and sanding on that side, But while that is curing, I'm over here, I'm taking all these fittings off around here and everything. Don't know what on earth happened there, but I'll tap it straight and put a spot of weld on it. Obviously there's bits like here and everything need to be repaired, but yeah, I'll get all of these bits off, and then once that door is finished, I can then concentrate on this opening and then work my way along this panel here. You know, it's, you know, running into little things here and there. I need to get some gunk in there, get all this old grease and everything cleaned out. What I might actually do is get the pressure washer on that, give it a good blast down, and same down there, that runner down there also needs to be addressed. But you know, little steps. Anyway, let me get all these put away. The thing I have been debating is what to actually paint and what not to paint. What I mean by that is I'm doing this, it's either going to be a very light teal, bluey green and white, or I'll be honest, I've seen a peppermint green that I'll be honest, I love. So what it's going to come down to is what colours I can get the interior trimmed in. So, but obviously the interior and everything is all going to be painted white again. Now, I'm thinking that it probably would be a good idea, this door, once I get it all primed and prepped, actually paint the inside of the door. And that's it done, that's it finished. Same goes for this side here. I've still got a little bit more to do where we're just there. But I may actually do all the white. Depends on how much I've got left in the gun. But I'm definitely going to do the inside of that door. And while I'm working in here, while I've got the door out, I may do this door frame as well. Because really what I want to do is once I get this side all worked up here, and all of this done, and this all body worked and primed, like so in here, obviously that is all going to be painted white. So I may actually go ahead and all of these parts here, along there, inside the door frame, seat backs, those divider, bulkhead things, you know, also in there, all around in there, right up to this back section here, get all of the interior white work done. The other thing I'm seriously thinking about doing is inside of here, instead of repainting that, hitting it with black Schultz, the heavy sound deadening stuff that I used on the Transit. It stops the panel drum, and like that, it'll stop that. So I'm thinking I'm going to do all inside of all the cavities and everything with that, and I am putting sound deadening in here anyway, but yeah, I might just do that. Also, I've got insulation. Well, I haven't got it yet, but I know what insulation I want to use inside of the cavities as well. Well, good morning. It's actually been a couple of days since I did any work on the door, or anything else on the van for that. Was off on a little bit of a rescue mission yesterday. Buddy Andy, it's an old 1956 Bedford truck that he knew it well. He's known the owner for many years. Well, sadly the owner passed away, and the truck was going onto the market, so he called me and said, would you mind helping me go rescue it? So didn't shoot any footage. It was a long day, so but I did take some photographs. I'll stick them up here. and a nice old thing. It needs a little bit of recommissioning, not much restoration, well, no restoration. Basically just needs to get the engine started, and the brakes need to be gone through just to, you know, refresh everything. Anyway, so we're back to this today, and if you recall, well, if I recall, the door was ready to paint. I've just got it stood up over there for the time being. Obviously it will need the panel wipe and everything before I get any paint on it, but before I do that, I'm going to start working in this area. Main thing I want to get done is see down these edges and everything need to all be sanded back, and yeah, a little bit of straightening, a little bit of filler. I want to get around these door frames and everything all nicely sanded, and this back panel up to this joint here, I want to get the panel all sanded and everything back up to there. Obviously all of this needs to be cleaned out. This, it's all solid, it just has a coating of rust on it, so that needs to be addressed. So that's the plan for, well, the next couple of days anyway. And once I actually get this complete, that's probably where I'm going to close the video out, because I think I've got a lot of footage, so I need to start going through it all and get everything sorted out. But anyway, oh, there's also, I need that with along there where the door runner runs, that all needs to be addressed as well. So, and the one up here, again, the door runner up there, there's no rust in that one up there, the top one, there's no rust in it at all. It's just really, really old grease, and it's not greasing anymore, it's basically more like glue. So I want all of that addressed. I think the first thing I'm going to do is get some gunk out and get the gunk in these runners here, just to see if I can release all of this old grease. Yeah, sounds like a plan. You can probably see now where I've got a lot of that grease cleaned out. What I'm doing now is I'm going to get the pressure washer out and just blast in here. Just get the rest of that cleaned out and just give this a really good wash down before I do any sanding or anything. Because all of these little drips, all these little greasy drips, I want them gone, and I don't want to be sanding them into the paint. Same up there, I don't know if you can see. Got all up there, really nicely cleaned out as well. A lot better now. Once I'd washed this all out, I went along with it with a wire wheel on the grinder, then took everything off that I could. Then I hit it with the rust converter, left that to sit for 30 minutes until it dried, and then I've gone over it again with a rust encapsulator. Now obviously I have gone over onto the panel a little bit. I'm okay with that, because once this is all dry I will then start sanding this panel and working my way down. Some of these marks here, this isn't actually oil anymore, this is just where the gunk actually stained the primer. That's all getting sanded off anyway, so I'm okay with that. But overall, yeah, you know, it's as I've said before, it's getting there. So obviously got the door and everything just stood up there. I have washed it all down and just pushed everything back into the front of the tent here. So tomorrow I am heading off on a bit of a rescue mission. My buddy Andy is rescuing an old Bedford truck. It's unlikely I'll shoot any footage of that. It's going to be a quick go grab it and get it back to his place. So I may take a few photographs, I don't know. But this is probably a good place to bring this video to an end. I've gotten a lot of work done on the door. Unfortunately we had to get into that, but that's what it is. So if you wouldn't mind clicking that like button and hitting subscribe if you're not subscribed. I know that I do have a lot of viewers that aren't. That would really help the channel. So there we go. another week on the old girl here. And yeah, take care. Have a good one.